One of the tools that you will most undoubtedly use while doing your final mix is automation. Now, if you remember previously what we were talking about with automation when it got a pretty quick mention was that we can set points along the variable of time to make adjustments to things like pan, levels, and such. Now, something that you may not know is that you can actually automate settings on specific effects. On guitar, you can automate the stomp boxes themselves. Think about it. When you are playing guitar live, you're going to turn the pedals on and off, and you may turn the knobs certain ways to get certain effects. So you are able to do that hands-free, which would be done with automation. Now, when we talk about adjusting things like pan and levels, when we are mixing something down, there are going to be points when we want certain instruments a little bit more forward in the mix, a little bit back in the mix, and we may want them either a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right.
It's clear how automation can help.
Now, there will be other times when you want very finite adjustments to be made. For instance, on this guitar track, I may want the guitar to jump out front and then go to the left and to the right, all the while saturating the track with delay. Sounds cool. Let's do it. Now, the part I'm talking about is towards the end of the verse, where you hear the guitar doing little 16th notes and then a slide out of the verse. So what I want is, first of all, for that to be a little bit louder, because I think it's going to work really, really well with the drums. Very cool stuff. So how are we going to do this? First of all, we need to bring up automation. Remember, that's this button right here. We're going to view automation. Track volume is already selected. Now, the only thing that we need to do is enable automation by clicking on the button to the left of that drop-down menu. At that point, we can start setting our nodes. Now, if you remember from the recording section, the way we set nodes is by simply clicking on the line. So what happens is when the playhead goes by, it's going to say, oh, there's a node. What do I do? In this case, we want the volume to go up. So I'm going to set one node to set the current volume and then another and bring it up in order to raise the volume. Going to have that go just a little bit later in time because all we really want to catch are those 16th notes. So let's see how this sounds with the rest of the mix. Very cool. Now, another thing that I want to do is kind of create a little effect like the guitar is actually flying across the front of your face from ear to ear. That would be achieved by adjusting the pan within time. So what kind of automation do we want? We want track pan. There we go. We are presented with a brand new fresh line. As you can see, it's already set to the current pan setting right here. I would like the actual 16th notes to start on the left and then as it's sliding down, go across to the right. So let's give it a listen just to kind of mark where this is happening. Right about there. So what I'm going to do right now is just set the current pan position right here by just clicking. And then where the 16th notes, that will be all the way over to the left. And then where it is sliding out, which you can tell by the waveform is right about there, it is going to fly across. Let's see how this sounds. Yes! So let's give this a listen. And there it is. Now let's talk about automating things other than volume and pan. What is the first thing that we need to do? I will tell you. Unlock the track. Why is that? Because remember, when we lock a track, we cannot change anything other than volume and pan. So if we want to automate this stomp box, that's what we need to do. All right, so what is it that I would like to do? Well, I told you, I want to saturate the track after that slide with more delay. And the way we would do that is by raising the amount of repeats and raising the mix to 100%. So how are we going to automate this? Well, what we need to do is go back to the drop-down menu and select Add Automation. What this will do is present us with the automations that are available. And as you can see, we have every effect that is currently on the track. So we have the stop boxes, the amps, the visual EQ, and our echo and reverb. So in this case, I want to automate the mix and the repeats. There we go. And what I want to do is raise the repeats and the mix as the slide is happening. So here's the slide. We are going to raise the repeats all the way, just so you see what this sounds like. Again, we'll solo that. Actually, I had that happen just a little bit earlier. Okay, and we can see it's going to go on forever, so at some point we will want to cut this off. Now the mix, let's get that happening around the same spot. Show what type of effect this will have. Now the last thing in this case that we want to do is have this delay end. So I will bring this all the way down. Let's go back to the repeats, do the same thing, bring that all the way down. And then we also want to adjust the pan. This is just a matter of opinion. I kind of wanted to go back to the center while those repeats are happening. So let's go back over to the track pan. We'll bring this back up to here, to the center. And we'll also want to have that fade out. So it isn't too overbearing. All right, so let's give this a listen with everything. Maybe have it fade out just a little bit earlier. Give a little hint of it later. So there you go. That is everything you need to know about automation. As you can see, no matter what we are going to be automating, the same skill applies, whether we are going to be doing this over a long span of time, like if we want to slowly bring something up in the mix, bring it back, adjust the pan, etc., or if we're even doing this over a short span of time, like we just did in this example. So, quick review. All we need to do is show automation, enable automation, and then choose which automation we want. After that, we click on the line and then click on the nodes that we create and move them up and down to adjust the level. Now remember, if we want to automate something other than track volume and track pan, we need to unlock the track and then choose add automation. At that point, we can automate pretty much anything we want. So for instance, if we just wanted to saturate this with a bunch of reverb, choose reverb, click OK, it will show up in the list, and we do the same as we would for any other automation. Click to set a node and then drag up or down. So there it is. That's automation. Let's go ahead and put this to work.